Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Comic Book Club. Thank you for joining me tonight. I greatly appreciate it. So, tonight is going to be fun. We are going to be reading Atomic War, which is pretty intense. So, I want to say first up front, hey, if this is something that your kids shouldn't be, around, then you might want to get them out the room or whatever if you're listening, watching, whatever. But just so you know, I personally believe that this is a subject that every living being or thing on the planet should have a say in. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. So, um, if you haven't, you can grab a free copy and enjoy the read with me in the marketplace. And I'm going to get started. Oh, by the way, happy Country Music Day. Thanks, Rose. I didn't even know it was Country Music Day. And happy 4th. I'm feeling it too. Oh, I love the 4th. I love the 4th. You know what's great about the 4th? The 4th is Independence Day, Freedom Day. And what's great about Independence Day is, well, we're independent. I think that's an essence of freedom, to be independent, to be able to do it on your own. And then nobody can really do it on their own. We need everybody to help everybody so that everybody can do it. You know what I'm saying? Being independent is just awesome. And I hope that you can all find it in your heart to help independent creators and have a great 4th of July, because it's a great day and we should celebrate freedom. Abolish slavery in the world. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. All right, let's get going. Only a strong America can prevent atomic war. Woohoo! Check that cover out. Yeah, that's not cool. November, 10 cents up. Oh, look at that. There's an ace drawn on it, maybe. Or that city's getting wasted. Oh, here's an advie. The bonds we bought for our country's defense bought and helped equip our farm. Interesting. Hmm. Inspects a beehive on his 202-acre Georgia farm. My wife and I wouldn't own a farm clear today, he says, if it weren't for the U.S. savings bonds. They're the best way to save. Wow. That's correct. That's interesting. The Watley story can be your story too. Yay! Only a strong America can avert World War III. Man, this is having a real it's pushing me in one direction, and I just want to be the first to say that it takes two to tango. And so America should step the flunk back. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, let me I digress and get back to the read. I'll try not to interrupt anymore. The sneak attack. It was spring in the year 1950. Great hope surged through the peoples of the world as the earth renewed its bloom and the sun flooded green fields. A millennium of peace seemed assured as the Russians entered the ninth month of smiling consolation and enthusiastic efforts for peace. The Western powers were overjoyed. So positive was the United States of Russia's sincerity that a halt had been called months ago to the buildings of further A bombs. And now in Paris, at a final meeting of the Big Four in their Peace Drive conference, Russia again delivered its message of peace. Nothing but peace on a fateful Saturday afternoon in May. Russia stands for peace. We hold out our hand in friendship and will prove to you that our two systems can live side by side until the day when the weapons and armies shall vanish from the face of the earth. And there's a banner of peace in our time and people sitting around. Thunderous applause greeted the Russians' concluding words. Hear, hear! We face a new future. The Russians really mean it this time. There isn't a doubt in my mind. A half hour later, as the Russian delegation sped away from the conference hall, all our documents must be burned by midnight. The orders have arrived from Moscow. I have waited for this for months. The Western fools do not suspect a thing. Across the Atlantic, evening came to the Empire City. New Yorkers were hurrying home to dinner. Looks like a perfect day tomorrow for that double header at Ebbets Field. Ah, them bums. We'll get slaughtered again. And then there's a guy reading a newspaper, peace assured. In Detroit, the industrial giant a few hours' ride away, with all this talk about peace, Mike, it looks like they're going to close down half of the plane factories. I don't bother it don't bother me none. I'd rather put autos together any day. In Chicago, butcher to the world. Get along there, you four-footed steaks. What's the good word, Charlie? Got a letter from my brother Jim in Germany. Says he expects to be home in 2 weeks. They're disbanding his outfit. About the same time in the nation's capital. Can you give us a line on your talk with the president, Senator? It's all good news, men. We've entered a new era. Reports from Paris show that Big Four conference to be a complete success. Morning came to the upper Manhattan on Sunday, high above the gleaming towers in the main air defense headquarters. Ho hum, it's the quietest shift we've had, not even one unscheduled flight to report. After 6 months at this relay panel, it does get monotonous. Nothing since a DC 6 crashed in Maine last week. Clement, you're certainly conscientious. I haven't seen you move from that board in 6 hours. You can take a break whenever you want. If you don't mind, Colonel, I'll stick through the rest of the shift. I like my work. A half hour later, there's a strange report from Canada, Quebec province. Sound of unidentified planes flying high above Cloud Bank. Flight is unscheduled. Probably a Canadian Air Force unit. They forgot about. Keep a line open, though, Johnson. Or Jersen. Another half hour passed. What about those reports from Canada? Anything new in the last half hour? Nothing so far, Colonel. Winter's same story over Maine. Unidentified planes at 40,000 feet. Airspeed shows they're jets. They've sent up interceptors from Boston to check. Moments later, what? Colonel, get this from Boston. Planes positively identified as the MKV-4s, Russian heavy jet bombers, headed this way. Clement, plot that. Send the red flash to all interceptors, units at once. I'm going to watch our radar screen. What? 10 of our fighters shot down? 3 Russian bombers knocked out? They're still coming? 40 of them? Clement, did those planes get off the ground? All interceptors left their fields 20 minutes ago, Colonel. I'm checking their progress now. The room vibrated with tension as moments went by. Colonel, the Reds are reported over Secicada Day. It can't be. Where are those jet interceptors? Clement, what's happening? Let me see that plotting board. You plotted the Russians are heading inland. You've sent the interceptors away from the city. Get away from that board. Don't anyone make a move. In 20 minutes, New York will be a rubble heap. We'll all be dead, but the Soviets will conquer. For this, I give my own life. He means an A-bomb is on its way. He's an agent. Stand back. You don't do nothing. It's too late. Fight ensues. Attention, attention. Defense Air Wing. All interceptors return to city at once. At once. Enemy headed straight for New York City. Kill the dirty agent. They wanted High above the unsuspecting city, the wail of sirens suddenly mingled with church bells. And then there's a big show of the city. Looks like New York. Lots of people. 40,000 feet above the panicked metropolis. Bombardier to combat pilot. On target. Get ready. One, two, three, four. Down, down. Its piercing scream blending with the wail of sirens rushed the A bomb, the greatest destructive force ever devised by the hand of man. Seconds later, the bomb struck, and New York became a raging inferno. Really nice mushroom explosion there. Broken, molten bridges crashed into the East River, and the very water seemed on fire. The, the ponderous Queen Mary Anne had just passed the Statue of Liberty when the catastrophe struck. Oh, and the Statue of Liberty's fallen into the ship. Ugh. Moments after the blast, a huge tidal wave gathered momentum in lower New York harbor. Like a huge battering ram, it swept over lower Manhattan. The shelters became pools of death where thousands drowned. Ah, ah, help! Sheets of flame roared above the gas works on the East River Drive. In the labyrinth cellars beneath, panicked workers rushed to shut off the huge reservoir tanks buried deep in the earth. Shut off these gas reservoirs! Hurry, the fires are getting closer! If they blow, everything will go a mile in the air. Too late, the gas mains exploded with the impact of an earthquake. Boom! Blam! The independent subway had just drawn into the West 15th Street station when the crushing blow fell. When the stunned survivors emerged, what, what happened? It looks like the world's coming to an end. We're trapped, trapped. We'll never get out alive. Ah! The jewel of New York Park, Central Park, was inundated by its own reservoir. The George Washington Bridge snapped its cables and collapsed. In the Lincoln Tunnel, hundreds of feet beneath the Hudson at the moment of the bomb's impact, we're caught in an earthquake. The tunnel roof is giving way. A moment later, water pours down upon them. A skeleton civil defense force in upper Manhattan rushed from its shelter to lend aid. What a blast! It sounds like a volcano tore loose. I wonder how many blocks were hit. We're lucky we were so deep below the surface. They emerged to find death waiting amid the flames and lethal radiation. Cough, choke. The whole city is gone. Ah! We came up too fast. My lungs are burning up. Oh! People trying to help. Fire in the background. Looks like firefighters and law enforcement. This was a Manhattan 5 minutes after a single A bomb fell, a heap of twisted, broken rubble. But was the Empire City the only target that peaceful may but was the Empire City the only target that peaceful May morning? No, for within the same hour Chicago suffered a similar murderous attack from other red bombers. Crazed cattle ran from the burning pens into the gutted city. Our defense hub, Detroit, was a shambles of twisted steel and blasted factories in 30 seconds. This was a storage depot for 5,000 new automobiles. This was a reservoir 30 feet deep, 1 mile away from the blast center. Just carnage after carnage, picture after picture. This was a defense housing unit where 20,000 families once lived. Ugh, devastation. Lake Erie, with devastating finality, rose like a huge waterspout, flinging its massive strength up the Detroit River to engulf the stricken city. Ships being carried in the waters towards the city. Leaving stricken New York, the Russian fleet droned on toward the south. Droned. Look at that. I'm sorry. A direct hit, comrade Bombardier. We have wiped out New York. Da. Now we finish our mission with a strike against the capitalist center of the world. On to Washington. Boy, a single plane suddenly detached itself from the fleet and sped out to sea. Good luck, Commander Vasily. Keep formation. From now on, maintain radio silence. You must meet the interceptors and conquer them. Board the lone A bomb carrier plane. We have struck a great blow from the Soviet Union. The news will rock the world. We are 100 miles at sea. The interceptors have been fooled. Good. Now change course and fly south. We shall approach Washington from the water. Every available plane took to the air from Washington the moment the New York disaster was flashed to the capital. Last report, last report was from Philadelphia. About 35 of them headed straight for Washington. 400 jets meet them in the 400 jets will meet them in 20 minutes. They won't get a single plane through. Good hunting, Joe. As the last fighter jet left the field, what's the matter with you guys? What's holding me up? We're doing all we can, sir, but your plane has a fuel line leak. You can't take it off. You can't take it off the ground. Don't tell me I'm going to be stranded here. Get me another plane. They're all gone, sir. There aren't any more planes available. I feel like a clipped chicken. 2 years of combat in Korea with never a day lost. And now this happens to me. There must be something I can do. Maybe operations can get me a plane. 15 minutes later, 10 miles north of Baltimore, the Russian decoy bombers met a wall of destructive fire. Ooh, that's a battle going on there. The Americaskis fly like winged demons. There is no escaping them. Ah, the oil lines are hit. We are burning. So virile was the defense that not a single Russian bomber escaped destruction, but from the battered hulk of one plane. The last commie plane's been blasted, but look, Terry, they're bailing out of one. Don't worry, they're right over the Aberdeen proving grounds. They haven't got a chance. From Aberdeen, flying squads of American soldiers converged on the Reds. Try to take them alive! Let's finish the dirty killers. Why should they live after that? They did. Get back. I don't love them any more than you do, but they're needed for questioning. Just then, headquarters staff arrived. This is the only language they can understand. I'll put that rifle down, soldier. These Russians are more valuable to us alive right now. After prolonged questioning, but why was this attack made after your country pledged itself to peace? Why? Our high command tells us they capture U.S. plans. Plans show our country to be attacked this week by atom bomb. We must attack first. That is all I know. Take them away from strategic interrogation. Find out where those planes came from and where the bombs were loaded. Check possibility of further attacks. Yes, sir, at once. Back at Washington, Russ fought for another plane. Sorry, Lieutenant. There isn't a single plane in Washington. They're all out. Red hunting. It isn't right. I deserve a crack at them, too. Slowly, the sensitive radar scanner turned on its axis as the skies were searched. Then it stopped. There's a plane coming this way from the east, from the sea. Could it be one of ours? No, we don't have any out there. All our planes are headed north to intercept the Reds. It must be a red plane. Lieutenant, check your ship again. Maybe you can get it off the ground. We haven't we haven't repaired the leak yet, Lieutenant. You can't use the plane. I can't wait for repairs now. There isn't a second to spare. Once that fuel hits your hot tailpipe, you'll explode like a rocket. Don't, Lieutenant. Ow! Out of my way. I can't explain now. I must take that plane out. I must take that plane up. With jets flaming, the ship power climbed at blinding speed. 5, 6, 7,000 feet. No sign of any plane yet. It was coming in high. At 30,000 feet, Russ spotted his target. There it is, an MKV 4, just like they said. He's over the Potomac River now. Baby, don't fail me now. At 40,000 feet, the huge bomber proceeded in steady flight over the capital. Ignore the American. We're over the target now. Prepare to bomb. Bomb. 1, 2, 3. A few more seconds is all I need. Please give me just a few seconds. They've dropped the bomb. There's only one thing I can do, one thing I must do. Russ sent his jet into a straight power dive with motors wide open at supersonic speed. His course was set. He had to intercept that bomb. 37, 36, 35. I must keep conscious and hang on. At 32,000 feet, the jet fighter crossed the hell bomb's path. Thus, the first great hero of World War III died. The blast, 32,000 feet above Washington, atomized Russ Dennis' frail body, but the capital was saved. Boom! Huh. 1 hour later, the President of the United States addresses the stricken country. I cannot find the words to express my undying gratitude to the young eagle who gave his life that we here might live. The president rallied the nation with his final words. The war we did not want has come. We have been caught off guard, but we shall return blow for blow until tyranny has vanished from the face of the earth. Look upon the pictures of our giant cities, hundreds of years in the building, smashed by the atom bomb, and say, this shall not come to pass. More than ever today, only a strong America can prevent this from becoming a reality. I wonder who the hell wrote that. All right. So, sorry, that was a long read, y'all. That was a long one. However, I thought it was pretty cool. Um, so this comic series was published by Ace Comics in 1952 to 1953 and had 4 issues total. Ace Comics published superheroes in the 40s, and then during the rise of superheroes, like we discussed on our last episode, right? During the mid 50s, most comic publishers shifted to crime, horror, and romance. Media, books, TV, movies reflected the issues of society at that moment in time. Um, yeah, I think it's pretty clear what the 50s were worried about. Yeah, that's pretty intense. You know what I'm saying? Like it's pretty intense when you atomic bomb. You know what? That's just like nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. Nobody in this world wants nuclear war of any kind. I it's it's really interesting how this came across. Um, there really was well, we'll get into it. We'll get into it. We'll get into it. Leave your comments. Leave your comments in the chat if you got something to say or an opinion or anything. I just I it's pretty intense when you think about it. Like people be talking like we're real close to it right now, and that's a scary thing. Like I don't want that. I don't know anybody that wants that. I don't know anything that wants that. I mean, honestly, you know. But we'll get into that. We'll get into that. Let's see. So comics are a great way to spread a message. But what do you guys think about using comics like to tell a an entertaining story versus to address like social issues and issues of that time or even our time right now? I mean, kind of ironic if you don't. It is kind of ironic that you know, they were projecting this back then. And the way that they were projecting it kind of like looks like what's going on right now, in my own personal opinion, which is crazy when you really think about it. Like, what were they doing? Were they putting the seed in our mind? Planting that. Just remember, think happy thoughts. We're all light bringers, so we can change. We can change the frequency, and not have to deal with this craziness. Hopefully, that our leaders seem hell bent on doing. Freaking psychos. Anywho, um, so yeah, do you guys think that comics should be used for propaganda? I mean, pushing a narrative like trying to get an idea across like, "Hey, you should support these guys in this situation where it destroys everything and everybody on the freaking planet." Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Ugh. So, uh, there's so many things I just wanna say, but I can't. Okay. Uh, According to Bradford West Wright, comic book historian, published during the time of U.S. participation in the Korean War, Junior Books Atomic Wars speculated on the possibilities of World War III, despite the series' stated purpose to warn against the horrors of atomic warfare. It did just the opposite. In its stories, U.S. forces employing tactical and strategic nuclear weapons triumphed repeatedly over the communists. Okay, let's get this straight right away. Okay, if it comes to nuclear blows, to atomic freaking blows, like hit for hit, everybody, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. What side of the fence you're on, the commies gonna be dead. The Americans gonna be dead. Everybody gonna be dead. Everybody gonna be dead. Like all the plants, all the animals, the world will be in a horrible state. I mean, where is you know, your concern for the world? Oh, crime. Anywho, sorry. Let's see. I really do feel like they were using this story to really push, oh, poor Americans got attacked first. I mean, back in the day, if I didn't have access to, radio and internet, phone, and I didn't know all the things that I know now, I could see how this could like get you all like, oh yeah, my country. Yeah, oh man, I would totally support a nuclear war that would destroy everything. I would totally support it. Shut the front door. Shut the front door. Like, nobody should be supporting that. I just want to be very, very clear. No one out there or anywhere, look, to all those really intelligent beings out there in the universe, I just want you to know that we don't want a nuclear war. The people that are pushing us towards that, they're jerks, and we don't want it. Okay? Just so you know, the real people. All right. I hope you all agree with me. I mean, if you don't, this is my opinion. So please let me know your opinion. But I mean, honestly, I think we're all on the same page. Like pretty much all the humans and all the plants and all the animals, except for the crazy humans that have their fingers on buttons that they shouldn't. Don't want that. Do not want it. Don't want it. We want to be happy. Think of bright things, bright things. Yeah, like if you can't find a bright side, I'll help you. Humans make light at the very foundation of their being and their cells. So there's always a bright side. You can always find it, I promise. So please, let's just have great thoughts and change our frequency and get away from this craziness that they were writing about back in the 50s. So I had to think about this topic because it's pretty intense what's going on these days. And there's been two scares. So now we're on our third scare. And that's three too many. Like three strikes you're out. We should like learn and be like, no, no more. We don't want to do this. We don't want to do this. So I'm just saying, I'm just saying. And you know what? I hope you like my rant because I'm really thinking that like all the plants and all the animals that live around me, they were telling me like, "Hey, you're doing a good thing saying this, man, because we don't want it. Like, it ain't coming from us. It's coming from some jerks in power positions that like have a pissing match of some sort going on." All right. What are some examples of books or movies that seek to both entertain and warn society about issues we face today? Interesting question. I don't know any. What are some examples of books or movies that seek to both entertain and warn society? I did see a movie just recently. I can't remember the name of it though. Hmm. Can you think of any, Fry? Nope. All right. So, well, actually, that was a long book. So I just want to say, ugh, Happy 4th. Happy Independence Day. I know it's a little early, but for a lot of Americans out there, we really like to blow shiz up, And and the 4th of July is a really, really awesome time when we really blow some shiz up. But the thing is we know the difference between blowing shiz up and blowing everything up. And we're not down for that. Okay, we're not down for that. So I just want to say happy 4th, happy Independence Day, happy Freedom Day. I hope we abolish slavery. I hope that we get free energy because it is available. Look at the Secrecy Act. Yeah, yeah. Because there's all sorts of awesome, 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 awesome free energy patents the government might have. But that's not us, the American people. We don't want nuclear war. I'm just telling all the aliens out there that can stop these things from happening, save us. And from that, I hope y'all have a wonderful night, and I'll see you again in 2 weeks. Bye.